In this video, we'll be talking about Boolean operations and how we can add, subtract, or intersect objects in 3D space. Let's start off with adding a cube, something simple. And let's say we want to subtract a cylinder from that cube, sort of like dig a hole through this entire mesh. So I'm going to add a cylinder to the scene. I'm going to rotate it, say 90 degrees. I'm going to scale it in a bit and then scale it across the x-axis. And let's position it somewhere like, say, up here, for example. Scale it in a little bit more. Something like this should do. Yeah. And let's say now that we want to subtract this cylinder from the cube. How we can do this is by using a modifier. What are modifiers? Well, modifiers are ways to non-destructively modify our geometry. They are found right over here in this panel of buttons. Usually by default you have this one enabled, which is the object properties. You've seen it in our previous videos. The modifier stack is modifier properties right here where this blue wrench is found. There are lots of modifiers and we're going to be looking through a big bunch of them in the upcoming videos. But right now, what we're concerned with is the Boolean modifier. So I'm going to select it. And you can see right here, you have difference, which is subtraction, union, which is combination, and intersection, which is basically where the two objects intersect. So right now what we're going to be doing is we're going to pick out a cylinder so we can subtract it from the cube, and here you can see the result. So what I did was I picked it up, but you don't see the actual result initially because the cylinder is visible in the scene. So in order to make the cylinder invisible and have the result be seen, I'm going up here in the scene collection and I'm pressing on this eye icon to hide the cylinder. And right now you can see that we've drilled a hole through this simple box. If we switch to union, you can see that it creates an object with this cylinder over here. It basically combines the two objects. And if we hit intersect, it basically creates just the cylinder that's within the intersection of these two objects. What we want is to keep the difference here because we're going to explore a bit. Right now, if I go to edit mode by pressing tab, you can see that we're going to the cube and we can just edit the cube. What this means is that any change that the modifier does is non-destructive and basically non-permanent. So if I click, for example, the real-time button, you can see that it enables and disables the effect of the modifier. If I want to edit this, I'm going to have to apply the modifier by clicking apply. And right now, if I go to edit mode, you can see that I can go over here and basically work on these vertices and do whatever it is that I want to do. But that's not the power of the modifier stack. So I'm going to undo this a couple of times. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the cylinder object. I'm going to make it visible. And if I move it around, it's going to modify the actual Boolean result. So I'm going to move this thing. I'm going to scale it big time. And if I hide it, you can see that basically it's updated itself. This is really powerful because when I press here on the cube, you can see the changes in real time. So let's make this big. If I go to the cube and hide this, boom. I can reposition this as much as I want, and it's not applied to the cube in any way, shape, or form until I decide to do so. I can even make it bigger. and you can see the result here. We can have multiple modifiers, we can stack them. So let's say that I want to drill another hole, or maybe I want to cut out a box from here. So I'm going to add another cube. This is the new cube. So I'm going to reposition it. I'm going to scale it down a bit to where I need it. Let's rotate it some. Let's have it be at an angle so we can make something more interesting. Something like this, maybe. Yeah. I'm going to have it scale up a bit. I'm going to have it go through the entire model again. And right now I'm going to add another Boolean modifier. Difference. I'm picking this cube, and when I hide it, you can see, boom, it cut out the cube as well. So let's make another incision, and I want it to be right over here in the form of another cube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another cube to the scene. I'm going to scale it in a bit. Let's see how I want to position this. I want to have it be something like this, like drilling a hole through the entire mesh. Yeah, this is going to do. And I'm going to add another Boolean modifier. Again, difference, and I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to hide it so we can see the result. And as you can see, we've created an interesting object here. And if I press tab to edit, we return again to the box. So one thing that we need to know here is that the Boolean has an order. What does that mean? The first Boolean does the first subtraction, the second Boolean does the second subtraction, and the third does, well, logically, the third. So if we go through this one, we subtracted the cylinder. So basically, the shape that we have right now is this one. I'm going to disable these two. This is what gets executed first. Then this, and then this.